Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your April 2016 general reading. I am using the Gilded Tarot deck, drawing 8 cards for the month, 2 cards for each week, with an additional card as your overall theme and general feeling of the month, your crowning card. I always like to preface these by saying, be aware that this is a general reading, so if they don't apply or resonate the same with everyone who watches, please do check your rising and your moon sign as well. I know I always do myself to get as clear and definitive a picture of the month ahead as possible. Thank you to those of you who continue to watch and listen and subscribe to my channel. Your feedback and your comments are always very appreciated. I do love reading them. I don't have the chance most of the time to respond to each of them personally, other than to like them, but I do read each and every one of them and enjoy it very much. So thank you, and keep those coming. And a special thank you to those of you who continue to give me the opportunity to read for you on personal one-on-one readings. Always an honor and always a pleasure to do that. Thank you so much for that. And for those of you who are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can click on the About sign on my channel's homepage to get a little more detail and information on that and my contact information. And you can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. So let's get right into this reading. Oh, and for those of you who are interested in personal one-on-one readings with me, I do readings full-time, so I work pretty diligently at coordinating with your schedule to get you a reading as quickly as possible. My current turnaround time is about 1 to 3 days. So, this reading is for Cancer for April 2016. Cancer the Crabs, my lovely, watery, deep soul. What does the month of April 2016 have in store for Cancer? Cancer, Cancer. Show me Cancer, April 2016. Cancer, April 2016. Okay. So we begin with the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Eight of Swords, the Page of Cups reversed, followed by the Four of Pentacles, the Star card, followed by the Empress, the Magician, followed by the Knight of Wands. And as your overall theme and general feeling of the month, the card from the bottom of the deck is the Nine of Cups. So let's just take a look, Cancer. Okay, let's begin. An interesting reading. I think a more internal month for you, Cancer, and perhaps, yeah, a little more of an internal month for you. So we begin with the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Eight of Swords. So the Seven of Pentacles, Pentacles, the element is that of earth, so it's all about the tangible earthly things, things we can see and touch and feel. Most often, Pentacles is a suit that points towards things in our material world, things like money, finances, resources, property, job, career, things of that sort, although the same energies can be applied to other subject matter as well. The Seven of Pentacles is a card mainly about reflection and assessment of something, Cancer. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is going to be about something internal, something you feel emotional about. For some of you, this is going to resonate as relationship energy. And for some of you, this may resonate, I feel, as kind of being in a place in your life where you're perhaps reflecting and assessing your job or your career path for some of you. For others of you, this is just going to represent a project of some kind or an entrepreneurial thing that you're doing that you have a great deal of emotion invested in. The Seven of Pentacles, Cancer, points towards during April 16, coming into April 2016, You find yourself at a point where you're considering if something that you have been investing in, something that you've been working on, is worth continuing with, or if you are getting from it everything that you've put into it and more. You can see on the front of this card that it is harvest time. This woman has planted the seed. She has nurtured and fed and watered this thing that she is hoping to get a good yield from. And it's harvest time. The fruit is ripe. You can see there's a ladder leaning up next to the tree, waiting for her to climb up and pick it. And she has a basket to put the fruit in, as represented by these pentacles. But the basket's empty. She hasn't yet climbed up there to begin to pick because she's trying to figure out, she's looking at the tree and she's trying to figure out if the yield is what she expected it to be or better. So Cancer, it looks like going into April 2016, perhaps at the beginning of March. I am actually recording this on the last day of March. Something that you have been working on for a while, something that you have been investing in for a while, it looks like you're at a point where you're considering whether it's worth continuing in or not. I don't get a particularly negative feeling off of this card, but for some of you, you may feel as if you're not getting back exactly what you had anticipated getting back from something, whether it's a relationship or an actual physical, tangible thing like your job, your career path, or a project that you've been working on that you're emotionally invested in. Um, it looks like you're just at a place where you're questioning it. For some of you, it's going to be, the tree has yielded fruit and it's yielded a decent harvest, but again, for some of you, it may not be representing exactly what you wanted to get back, either your investment and more, which is usually what we hope to get back when we plant things and invest in things, is our initial investment plus some. So again, it looks like you're just at a point at the beginning of April 2016, Cancer, where you're wondering if it's worth continuing or not. I think for some of you, this is a month where you're going to, um, it looks like you may have some doubt. This card is accompanied with the Eight of Swords too, which is a card about being kind of mentally held hostage by something. And I feel like for a lot of you, at the end of March 2016, going into April, you're kind of at a place where I feel like it's a lot of self-doubt in something that you're striving for, and wondering if the payoff is going to be what you want. Um, And the deeper feeling that I'm getting off of this card is that actually what you're getting out of it is fairly decent. The yield has been fairly decent, but for some reason you're just in a place of wondering if what you actually want, what you're hoping to get from this harvest, what you're hoping to get from what you're investing in. I feel like the self-doubt is actually coming. You're actually doubting whether or not the end goal is going to be achievable for some reason. I'm just feeling a very strong sense of kind of worry and anxiety. For some of you, I feel like it's more internally focused on yourself. Do I have what it takes to achieve what I want? Yeah, I'm really kind of getting that feeling that it's not so much about what you're seeing, because I have a feeling that this is something that you've been investing in for a while. Again, for some of you, this is going to mean that tangible earthly world like job, money, finances, career, perhaps your own business, an entrepreneurial project. And for some of you, this is going to represent, a personal relationship, be it love or romance or a close family relationship. And I feel like actually it's been going pretty well, but that there's a goal you have in mind, an outcome that you have in mind. And for some reason, you're at a point where you're kind of wondering if there's doubt as to whether the end is going to be what you want or not. At present, it looks pretty good, and I feel like it's played out pretty well for you. But again, for some reason, there's some doubt for you at the end of March, beginning of April. It looks like you're just kind of going through a bit of a bump. But I don't feel like it's really negative. I just feel like it's perhaps something's happened to make you kind of doubt yourself or doubt whether you have the ability to stick in there for the long run, or for some of you for whom this is a business, if you have what it takes to kind of keep it going and again, get the returns that you want. That Seven of Pentacles is accompanied by the Eight of Swords. So swords, and again, one of the reasons I feel this is so internally focused and the doubt is more about yourself and your intention than the subject itself. We have the Eight of Swords, which is accompanying that card of reflection and assessment. And swords is the element is water, and swords is a suit that's all about how we look at things. It's about our mindset, our perspective, how it's a very mental and cerebral deck. Again, it's how we look at things. The Eight of Swords is a card that represents feeling held hostage by your own thoughts. This is a card of, and most of the time I actually see this as a card of mental illusion, uh, meaning that most of the fears that we're experiencing about whatever this subject is in our head and not actually necessarily reflected in our outer environment. You can see on this card, this woman is completely encircled by these eight swords. And these eight swords can represent a variety of ideas or ways that you have of looking at something. Or more often, I find it represents an actual single mindset. And she's on her knees in the middle of these swords, which implies a certain victim mentality, a large degree of vulnerability and helplessness. She's bound at the wrists with chains. There's chains wrapped around her wrists, and she's blindfolded. There is really a very strong feeling of being powerless, unable to protect yourself, unable to help yourself in this. And again, she's completely encircled, held hostage, if you will, corralled by these eight swords, which I believe for the majority of you, if not for all of you, is representing a mindset. And I feel like it's directly connected to this doubt that you're having about this thing that you've been working on that you want so much. You have a specific outcome, a specific goal in mind. But if you look closely at this picture, Cancer, you can see that the chains that are around her wrists are not connected to anything. Not only are they not connected to anything, but nobody's actually holding them. With a simple twist of her wrists, these chains could fall off and she could reach up and remove this blindfold herself. There's almost an air of complicity in the place that she finds herself where she feels so powerless. And again, I feel the strong advice of this card, Cancer, is to look at what your fears and anxieties are about this thing. Again, whether it's a relationship or a business career path. For some reason, at the beginning of April 2016, you suddenly find yourself, perhaps somebody has given you some negative messages or said something which has caused you to question yourself, or perhaps the progress that you see happening right now is not as much or as quick as you want, and you find yourself just in this place of maybe mild to moderate fear, anxiety, but self doubt, I get more than anything else. A way of looking at whether or not it's worth continuing. Perhaps you have a historical pattern, Cancer, of working towards a goal and then getting in this place of self-doubt where you feel like running away, or you feel like stopping, you feel like you're not going to be able to do it somehow. Again, I feel very strongly that this is just connected with almost a self-esteem issue. Do I have what it takes? Is this going to work out for me? Nothing works out for me this way, or it's just not. It's almost as if you're afraid to reach out and grab your own happiness. And I'm seeing this card for you in this reading, Cancer, is mostly illusionary. What's trapping you is actually yourself. This woman has the ability to free herself, to remove those chains herself, take the blindfold out, and actually walk right through these swords. They're not all that close together. There's big enough gaps she could just stand up and walk right through it. So Cancer, I feel like at the beginning of April 2016, if you find yourself in a place of doubt about this relationship or your job, career path, something that you've begun that you actually feel quite emotional about, it feels like you have a lot invested in this. And again, it doesn't feel like this harvest on the Seven of Pentacles is the final harvest. I feel like it's something that you've been involved in for a while and it's going to continue to play out for a while. You just find yourself in a place of self-doubt. Can I do this? And again, it feels more self-directed. Do I have what it takes? Do I deserve this? Perhaps some of you are coming from a historical pattern of feeling like you don't, that things don't typically work out for you, or that you don't deserve to reach out and grab this happiness or obtain the goal that you want so much. So that's kind of an interesting message. That's an interesting feeling for me to get off that, but I do. But I feel like it's just a little bump in the road, Cancer. And for those of you for whom this resonates or this is going to resonate, just remember that when you start feeling and these feelings and thinking these thoughts of, should I stop? Am I on the right path? Do I have what it takes? Am I good enough? Um, just remember to examine them and compare what's going on in your head and your heart with what's actually reflected in your outer environment, because the yield looks like it's pretty good. It looks like whatever this thing is actually working out pretty well. You just find yourself in a place of self-doubt and anxiety, and compare with your inner atmosphere what's reflected in your earthly tangible environment, because I feel like for the majority of you, if not all of you, that it's really it really is just in your head, and you need to kind of combat it that way as well. So around the second week of April 2016, we have the Page of Cups in reverse, accompanied by the Four of Pentacles. Now the Page of Cups, the element is that of water, and Cups is a suit that's all about our emotions, how we feel, our emotional atmosphere and landscape, both inner and outer. And Cups is a suit that often represents love and relationships, or things that we feel emotionally invested in. And in the upright position, the Page of Cups would represent, pages can represent young people or actual children in your life. For some of you, and although I think it's a very small portion of you, this area of concern or what you're having stress and anxiety about could represent perhaps one of your children or a young person in your life that you really care about. Although if that's true, I feel like it's just for a very small portion of you. Pages can also represent messages or messengers, and in this case, it would be receiving a message about a message of love or a message of emotional support. Somebody may be making an offer of love. Pages are the least mature energy of the court cards. There's pages, knights, queens, and kings. And the Page of Cups can represent a certain naivety or a certain immaturity about love, or a certain kind of beginner, young, naive, emotional kind of place. But you've got it in the reverse position, Cancer. And I actually feel, based on the cards that are around it and just what I'm intuiting off of this card, I actually feel like there's something about your perspective of this, your emotional perspective of this, that's changing and shifting. And actually, you've come from a place where you've looked at something perhaps in a naive, immature, or just beginning kind of stage. And I feel like you're actually transitioning out of that, which is interesting because I don't often get that feeling off of the Page of Cups reverse. But I feel like for the large portion of you, this card, the Page of Cups in reverse, is representing actually your thoughts and your feelings about this thing actually maturing, changing, deepening, growing. Just take another look at this. For some of you for whom this resonates more as a love relationship reading, this for those of you for whom the subject is going to be love and relationships, I actually feel like the relationship that you're in um, has been going on for a time, but still has a fairly new and fresh feeling about it, and that it's actually moving to another level, that either you or your partner or the two of you together, there's something about it that feels as if you're transitioning from kind of that starry-eyed honeymoon phase into something a little deeper. I think some of you are coming to a different acknowledgement and understanding of what your relationship means. Perhaps it's moving into a deeper level. Perhaps you've had some conversations lately. You've talked about perhaps where you might want to take the relationship. For some of you, this is going to be an internal personal process where there's something about how you look at love, how you're that's deepening somehow. It's almost as if you're maturing in this area of your life. I actually feel like the Seven of Pentacles and Eight of Swords that you're coming into the month with, Cancer. Um, for some of you, and this just feels so specific that I actually think it might only be aimed at a certain portion of you, but somebody who's watching this, somebody who's going to watch this needs to hear this. So it almost feels as if you've been on some kind of exploration of something you've been investing in, and your emotions about it are changing. You're starting to actually have a deeper awareness and a deeper understanding of what it is that you're actually investing in and how much it actually means to you. And and it's actually echoed by being accompanied by the Four of Pentacles, which is a card I sometimes and often see as holding on, and in some cases holding on a little too tightly, being kind of shut down, being kind of afraid to open up and to let go. This card in the upright position can also point towards, I've heard some people refer to it as the miser card. Perhaps those of you who've been having financial times, it could represent being afraid to spend money or hanging on to what you have left because you feel you've already lost so much and you're afraid of losing what you have left. But actually, this combination of cards, I'm feeling more not that way actually, and it's quite a bit more positive and uplifting. I feel like this thing that you've been investing in, Cancer, that you've kind of been going through a reflection assessment period about it. Again, perhaps experiencing some feelings of self-doubt, anxiety, perhaps questioning some self-esteem issues perhaps around this. But I feel like as you work through this, your understanding of it and what you have invested in this is changing and maturing somehow, and that it's actually providing you with a more solid foundation. At the risk of sounding a little mother-like, it feels as if you're maturing. This process, this thing that you're going through is maturing, or your understanding of it, of your investment in, is maturing. I think for some of you for whom this resonates as a love relationship reading, your understanding of what it actually takes to build a solid, grounded, stable foundation is changing and deepening. Your awareness is growing. And it's actually quite a lovely, solid, rooted feeling. That Four of Pentacles represents kind of the beginning or middle process of building a foundation in this relationship that you're in. For others of you for whom this resonates more as Pentacles, job, career path, your own business, entrepreneurial project, again, I feel like this place that you find yourself in the beginning of April where you're kind of questioning what you're putting into it, maybe having some doubts and fears about whether you've got what it takes to achieve your dream. I feel like as you work through that, that your understanding and your awareness of what it actually means to you and what you're investing in it is deepening, is growing, is maturing. It's as if you're internally kind of hitting a new phase and going, okay, this is what it's going to take, and I'm really committed to this thing, and you're realizing uh, what it actually means to build up this slow, solid, steady foundation for yourself. And it's something that is really worth hanging on to and really worth investing in. I think for the majority of you, if not all of you, this process, even though it begins with a little bit of self-doubt and anxiety and perhaps some self-esteem issues too, I feel like as you work through it, it's going to, this maturing and deepening and understanding of what it actually takes to build this thing is actually moving you into kind of a different sphere in your own maturity level, if that makes sense. Now, at or around the third week of April 2016, around the middle of the month, we have the Star card, beautiful major arcana card, one of my favorites, combined with the Empress card, another major arcana card, a powerful, powerful combination, both very spiritual and intuitive personalities and energies. So again, it feels like this internal month of growth and evolution and maturing levels of the understanding of love, of the energy that you're investing in this thing, whether it's a relationship or a job, career path, your own business. And it looks like God, Spirit, the universe, whatever your spiritual foundation is asking you to have faith in that and asking you to, um, as you're working through this period of reflection, self-doubt, some anxieties and fears you're having, to trust more in yourself, to go within, to tap in that sense of your own intuition and to trust in that, to trust in your divine connection, and also in the sense of divine timing around this. The Star card asks you to have faith in the path that you're on. There's a feeling on the Star card of the path that you're on having quite a beautiful and bright future. And in spite of whatever doubts or anxieties that you begin the month with, the Star card is asking you very strongly and very loudly to really trust in that original dream, trust in that path that you originally put yourself on, and trust that this is a matter of divine timing, that you are in the right path, and that you should continue to invest in this thing. And I actually feel like it's part of this process you're going through this month, Cancer. And being the beautiful, deep, lovely, watery sign that you are, you have an intuitive spiritual understanding of these things anyway. Although I think emotionally you can get quite deep into that self-doubt and anxiety period. The star card is asking you to have faith in that. Have faith not only that this is part of the plan, that you're on the right path, that there was a reason why you began this thing, and to have faith and trust in that, to have hope and promise in the potential of the path that you're on and that still remains in front of you. I feel like for some of you, I get kind of the feeling that whatever it was that precipitated this self-doubt, this kind of bump of anxiety and fear, I almost feel as if it was something that somebody else did or said that caused you to kind of slide into this, again, temporary rut of questioning whether or not you deserve it, whether or not you have what it takes, or whether or not it's worth pursuing. The star card is asking you to have faith in that. This is also a card of restoration and healing as well. There's a very strong theme of that. So whatever it is that you're focused on, Cancer, I almost feel like there's some outside forces in the maybe in the guise of people that are perhaps trying to sway you on a different path, or you know, it could be some jealousy issues that they're either doing or saying things that are causing you to have some self-doubt and anxiety. It's kind of what I'm feeling attached. It's interesting. I'm getting feelings from these cards, Cancer, that I don't typically get. So again, star card, have faith. You're on the right path. It's a matter of divine timing. Have faith in that, and have faith in yourself, and have faith in the original dream is the message that I'm hearing. And that this is the right time for you to be on this path. It's the right path and it's the right time. And to remember that, to be good, to nurture yourself along this path too. Again, that star card is paired with the Empress card, which is a beautiful, beautiful card. This is a card about fertility, abundance, prosperity. This is a card that points towards taking care of yourself, being in touch with yourself, kind of connecting or reconnecting with yourself and with what you need. Again, I'm just kind of feeling that it's this, you've hit this spot of self-doubt, as some, maybe perhaps some old self-esteem issues have surfaced again. The Empress asked you to get in touch with that part of yourself, to look at yourself, embrace yourself with love, to kind of connect with yourself, connect with your intuition. This card is also has some very practical advice to it of, if you're feeling this way, Cancer, to do some actual physical, tangible things that make you feel good, connect you with yourself, make you feel good about yourself, whether it's mental or spiritual things or actual physical things. Take a walk, or get a massage, give yourself a hot bubble bath kind of thing. And the other message to the Empress, again, if there was one word I could attach to this card, it would be fertility. It's something about the time being right to plant things, to nurture things. The Empress is kind of that ultimate Earth Mother. She loves to nurture and watch things grow. This says also that for those of you who are considering, for those of you for whom this represents the beginning of something, or you're ready to begin something, and you're having some self-doubt, or people are trying to talk you out of it and you're questioning yourself, the Empress is a very strong major arcana message saying that now is the right time to begin this project, to start on the path. For those of you who are already on it or already invested in this job, career, business, or it's a love relationship thing, it says that you're on the right path. This is the right thing. It promises prosperity and abundance. There's also a very strong message of fertility and rebirth with this card as well. For some of you, this could resonate as pregnancy. Some of you may be finding out that you're pregnant this month. Perhaps you're having some self-doubts and anxieties about that. It certainly would be normal. But the Empress, she's the ultimate Earth Mother, so I don't think there's anything to worry about there. But combined with the Star card, Cancer, I just really feel like this bump that you've run into, have faith, trust in that original dream, trust in the divine timing of you being on the right path at the right time. Uh, it's the right time to begin new ideas, new projects. It's the right time to continue them. If you're thinking of adding on to an already currently existing business or project, now would be the right time to do that. For those of you for whom this resonates as a love romance reading, this thing is a relationship. Perhaps you might think about incorporating something new into the relationship, maybe exploring some new hobbies or interests together, perhaps taking a trip together. However, it resonates for you, you're on the right path. The universe is cradling that. It's a matter of divine timing. Everything seems to be working together in order, and the whole reading is kind of flowing that way. So this place that you're at the end of March or beginning of April, where you feel like you're trapped, you're powerless, you feel like you don't have what it takes, or that you don't have everything you need, or that you can't. You feel kind of helpless. Um, and again kind of bound up by this perspective of how you're seeing it or how you're seeing yourself. I think this is illusionary, and it's only in your head because it's not really reflected in your outer environment. In fact, it looks like you are maturing and evolving and growing and coming to a deeper understanding of what it actually means, this thing that you're investing in, what it actually means to have faith in that, have faith in the original dream and in the path that you're on, because it looks like a very fertile one and one that's going to pay off pretty well for you down the road. And it's all about how you deal with it and how you move forward. Sometimes this Eight of Swords, a lot of times this Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords card too, when we get stuck in feeling trapped by our own thoughts, or we're actually held hostage by a way of looking at something or a way of looking at ourselves, it causes us to get stuck in inactivity and we stop moving. And it looks like for you, Cancer, this month that one of the keys to getting out of that place and through this month and continuing on this very fertile and abundant looking path is in your hands to keep yourself moving and to take action, to continue following the plan that you already have. Because towards or at the end of April 2016, we have the Magician card, very beautiful, empowering card, paired with the Knight of Wands. The Magician card is a wonderful major arcana card, and this card says that you have everything that you need uh, to make of this whatever you want to, Cancer. The Magician is a very intelligent, very clever individual. He can sometimes be a bit of a trickster because he is the magician and he's very good at what he does. But the Magician speaks of being at a place in your life where you have, regardless of whatever the self-doubt and anxiety is, you have everything that you need to make of this what you want. The Magician's walked a pretty long road of experience, and through trial and error and success and defeats and failures and triumphs, he has reached a point in his life where he has taken the culmination of all of those successes and failures and all the lessons he's learned, and he now has all the tools that he needs, all the experience and knowledge of using those tools to create whatever he wants to create, fix whatever he wants to fix, build whatever he wants to build, manifest whatever he wants to manifest. This is a card that assures you, no matter how you feel at the beginning of this month, remember to stop and ask yourself, is the doubts and the anxieties and the fears that I'm going through in my mind actually reflected in my outside environment? Because it looks like it's not. It looks like you're on the right path. The time is ripe. The Magician says you have everything that it's going to take that you need to accomplish whatever it is your goals are, and to have faith in that. The Magician is the energy of the Magician is, it's all about being self-sufficient and independent and self-empowering. You've worked very hard to acquire all the knowledge, skills, tools that you need in order to make of this whatever you want. Again, whether it's a very tangible thing like career, job, business, if you're thinking of shifting into something new, you can. If this is a relationship and you're experiencing some self-esteem, self-doubt issues, you're wondering if you deserve this somehow, I think that's an issue for some of you. The Magician says, of course you can, and of course you do. Reach out and take it. This is a very empowering, active-oriented card. The Magician takes all of those lessons that he's learned internally and begins to project them and manifest them in an outward way. This is about taking action and not getting stuck in that Eight of Swords energy, Cancer. And further underscored is the accompanying card of the Knight of Wands. Wands, the element is fire, fire and air. It's a very dynamic, action-oriented suit, and it's all about change, movement, action, power. I feel like, Cancer, in the beginning of the month, you may be tempted to get stuck in this hole of self-doubt, anxiety, fears, whatever it's about, which can cause you to kind of become still, to become inactive, to stop moving on this path of whatever it is that you're striving for. But the key lies in trusting yourself, trusting in your intuition, trusting that the path you're on is the right one. It's absolutely the right one. The magician says you have this in control. The magician is a very good accompaniment to the Knight of Wands, because this is all about the outward manifestation, the taking action and making dreams that are internal and taking them to the next level and beginning to manifest them and make them visible, which is how the energy of the court cards works. The pages kind of conceive and the pages come up with the ideas. They kind of conceive and birth them. The knights take them into action because knights are very action oriented, and there's a fair amount of speed attached to this card as well because it's a knight. They're the ones that come charging in. There are also the bringers of the tarot deck, but I actually feel like rather than this representing somebody else bringing this energy to you, I feel like paired with the magician card, Cancer, it's a very strong piece of advice that you have the ability to create this thing, to continue to manifest it and follow your own dream. And whatever the picture you have in your head, you have everything that it takes to make it reality. But it needs to be an active, you need to be an active participant in this. You can create anything that you want, and the time for acting is now, because the Empress says that. Don't allow yourself to get stuck in that mental energy of the Eight of Swords. It is only an illusion. The magician says it's time to take the reins into your own hand. You can manifest whatever you want. Take action now. Or for those of you for whom are already on this path, keep moving. Movement is very, very important. There's also a great deal of creativity and passion and drive in the Knight of Wands, Cancer. And again, it feels like you have a lot of emotion tied up in this. For some of you, this Knight of Wands may resonate as, although I think it's a smaller portion of you, may resonate as an outside person coming in and bringing with them the passion, creativity, and drive to help you make this thing more of a reality. Again, I almost feel like it's more something more tangible than a love relationship reading, but I think for some of you, this is going to resonate that way as well. It's kind of an interesting reading. It almost feels like it's a little kind of all over the place. It could kind of flow a variety of different ways depending on who's watching it. But the strongest message I get is entering the month with this kind of feeling of self-doubt and anxiety and fear about continuing on a path, that if you're able to do it, if you're good enough, if you have everything that it takes. And again, I feel like that's as a result of other people. I kind of feel other people's voice and chatter maybe trying to sway you or put you in a place where you stop striving for what you're striving for because of you know, they're making you question yourself basically. But the whole month is kind of about what examining it, this reflection and assessment. What really is your joy? What do you really want out of this? And actually focusing on that, trusting in that dream and that path, having faith that you're on the right path, that it is a sense of divine timing, and that you have the ability to make of it whatever you want to. The magician assures that you do, but it's really dependent on being an active participant in all of this. Now, the reading is crowned by the Nine of Cups, which is a wonderful card to have. This is the cup, again, that watery emotional suit. This is a cup. This is the yes card. This is a card of like your dreams coming true. If you had one specific answer, a question, this is the answer, yes. This is a card of having not just enough, but more than enough. As you can see on this card, this man is holding up this big, beautiful goblet. It's full, it's brimming. He's very happy. He has a lot. All of his dreams are coming true. He wants for nothing. He has so much that he has these other 8 goblets here, which are full and upright, and he's ready to share them with friends and family because he has more than enough. This is a card of having what you want. And I feel, and this is the crowning card, the general theme and feeling of the reading, Cancer. And again, I feel like this place that you find yourself in the beginning of the month feels very short-lived. It feels like it's just a bump in the road, but you are very spiritual, intuitive people, very deeply emotional people, and sometimes you can kind of go very deep into those places and get stuck there. And one of the themes of this reading is to not do that, to remember that you are the magician, you have what it takes to manifest this, to create your dreams, to keep moving forward, to take action on this, to achieve exactly what it is that you want, because it looks like whatever it is that you're investing in it's a dream for you. This is something that you're very strongly invested in, and this is the energy that's crowning you, Cancer. So, again, the advice is to trust in yourself, to trust in the path, to trust that you have everything that you need to achieve this, and do not get stuck. Do not allow yourself to get paralyzed or inactive because of self doubt and self fear, no matter who is kind of trying to tell you otherwise. And if they are, no matter how well meaning they may seem to be, if it's really putting you in a very negative self perspective space, you may either want to cut them free or take a break from them for a time while you continue working on this path. So Cancer, it's a very interesting reading. I'm not really left with a very clear idea of what the subject is. Again, it's probably going to resonate differently depending on who's watching it. So for those of you who feel comfortable doing so, please feel free to share with me. For those of you for whom this does not resonate at all, do check your rising and your moon sign as well. It may be that one of those, one of your other signs is more spot on for you this month. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I thank you for watching it. And again, for those of you who are interested in a personal reading, feel free to click on the About sign for more information and contact me directly at Maggie, the number one McGuire at gmail.com. And until I see you again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Thanks, Cancer, and I'll see you later.